Hello, Bashar. Good day to you. My name is Aaron, and my dream currently locates me in Germany. Consciously breathing is an important aspect of frequency management and shifting to one's preferred reality. I wonder, how does a quasi-physical being such as yourself and non-physical beings experience breath? Thank you.
It's more the idea of the fluctuation of vibrations of energy within the cosmos. That can be experienced similarly to the idea of the in and out patterns of breath, an ebbing and flowing of energy.
And what does that ebbing and flowing represent?
Well, it can represent many things depending upon how you relate to it, how you interpret it, how you channel it through yourself. But in general, it represents the idea of the fluctuations of patterns of energy and frequencies within the collective consciousness of all that is, that represent the shifts between the idea of polarities, of positive and negative, and going through the balance point in the center. It's like experiencing the idea of the fluctuations that give rise to the ability to experience the idea of positive or negative energies, mechanically speaking. But they always flow through the center point. That's why you have the infinity symbol, the idea of positive, negative, but they always go through the center point, the balance point in the Trinity of the structure of existence. But that's the ebb and flow you're experiencing. It's not being experienced necessarily all at once, it's still being experienced in a polarized way by going from one side to the other. But by being in the balance point, you can experience it in a balanced way for yourself, even though you may still feel the ebb and flow of that energy. It's going through you in a way that is more integrated.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Thank you so much. I'm very grateful to be able to talk with you today.
As are we to you.
So I have a few questions.
Yes.
The first one is that I've always been very passionate throughout my life about the Maya or Mayab. I've spent a lot of time researching it, visiting the places, their temples. Can you tell us more about what star system they're from and what their mission is here on Earth?
Well, the idea of a so-called mission is simply their exploration and discovery of different planets that are capable of supporting their kind of life, exploring, learning, setting up bases, so they can continue to explore and learn the specific nature of each world, which is very important to them to understand. It provides them a bigger picture of the universe and how it expresses itself on different planetary systems, so on and so forth. The idea is I am not really allowed at this time to talk about the origin point.
Okay. Can you tell us why they left?
Things were changing on the planet environmentally in many different ways, energetically in many different ways. They also sensed the discordant energies coming up in what you would call the future of their timing. And so many of them decided to leave, and many of them decided to stay to ride it out and see what they would learn by the experience.
What was their connection to the crystal skulls? Did they input their knowledge into them or help to?
Some of them did, yes, some of them did.
And I'd like to explore my connection with them. Is that through the crystal skulls or beforehand? I've sensed that I've had multiple lives.
Now, you know about that. You know about that. You haven't had multiple lives.
No, I mean my counterparts have. And so am I tapping into counterparts on other parallel lives that
sometimes, are... Sometimes.
So many years ago, I communicated with another channeled entity about this, and he told me that I had been a Maya priest in a parallel life.
All right, and again, you understand that that person exists. It's not you. You haven't been them.
Right.
So that's just a euphemism in an old-fashioned, outdated way of talking about an energetic link and a connection that you make to that person in order to download understanding, information, and experience from them to aid and assist you on your journey here. Yes?
Yes.
All right. So that's what you're doing.
Right. And what's interesting is that many years ago, he said that the lessons I was here to learn from that counterpart or parallel life is the use of power and using it with gentleness. And,
yes. and remember, the greatest power requires The lightest touch.
Uh-huh.
Yes?
Yes. And
Because it doesn't have to force anything. It doesn't have to force anything.
right. Thank you.
Because it is everything. So this is about understanding not your connection to nature, but your connection as nature, your expression as nature, so that things flow and nothing has to be forced. The greatest power requires the lightest touch. That's why all that is all but invisible.
That makes so much sense. Thank you. I've also been exploring through 23andMe, my ancestry, my DNA.
Yeah.
And I've discovered that I have Neanderthal and DNA.
No, most
And-
of you do.
And are you saying most of humans do, or specific types of humans? For instance, are those
Yeah.
with more Neanderthal being abducted by the Greys for their?
There are variations, and some of them have to do with the idea of the abductions, and some of them don't. There are connections to Denisovans, Neanderthals, Cro-Magnon, all sorts of things. There's a mixture of things going on. Some people have a little more of this and a little less of that. There's a mixture.
That's wonderful. And how are these DNA or genetics determined? Is it our higher self that decides what ones to focus on in a particular life?
Well, again, it is the higher self that sort of lays out the territory, but it's still up to the individual which path to take. And so there can be branching that happens in physical reality that may cause certain differences to occur, that might stray sometimes from the original path or not. But again, it still achieves the diversity that is required for the continuation of the evolution into the sixth hybrid race.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Bashar. I'm very grateful, and I really do love you so much.
Our love to you as well, and our deep appreciation.
Thank you.
Hello, Bashar. My first question to you is, can we feel other people's souls? And if so, have I ever felt somebody's soul?
Well, yes, you can feel the vibration that is given off by the soul, and that is why you say that the windows are the eyes of the soul, because again, there are vibrations that are being presented and given off, and if you match those frequencies, you can certainly experience other people's souls, and the way you more often than not experience that is by suddenly finding yourself being in love with them in one way, shape, or form. Just being in love with someone doesn't necessarily mean how that love has to play out sociologically or culturally, but by feeling yourself falling in love with some aspect of some person in some way, shape, or form, generally speaking, you are feeling the vibrations of their soul, their true self.